You have found the Lost Legion, a Star Wars Legion podcast where we talk about tactics, releases, news, and most importantly, a lot of trash. Welcome back, everybody, to the Lost Legion. I'm Adam, joined as always by JR. Oh, I have a present for you, Dieter. And I do have a present for you, Dieter. Just I forgot about it till like this very instant.
Oh, snap. I don't know if I want it.
And Daniel, I made top 3, but got robbed of my SoCal championship. So it's not done yet. I gotta clear off the supports and all that, JR, but I made you a dewback.
Oh, a little proxy one.
I made you an actual size dewback.
I like it. I dig it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Because this little I'm on a 2-inch samurai horse representing an 8-inch dewback doesn't really cut it.
Hey man, don't take away the magic. I need the theme.
So let's go some podcast news. This Wednesday, we will be at Go Back Gaming. Great store. Go see Victor. Come see us. Store opens at 3:30. We will be there. Well, I will be there about 5:30. JR and Daniel, I'm not too sure what time you guys will be there. Come get your games in. I'll bring some extra stuff for some learner plays. If you want to come down, just check it out. Other podcast news, we're still getting everything settled in with Omar. Sorry, Omar, I forgot your name for half a second. So hopefully the paint will start next week. I know I promised you guys this week, but I got incredibly busy in my personal life and, life happens. That brings us up to our major news and announcements. Our next thing we got coming is Escalation League. JR?
Yeah, so as everyone knows, this week is the last week to get your games in. And we got a tie for first place. There's 2 people, Carson and Nick. Congratulations on your 3-0s. They both decided to do one more round to have a definite winner because they didn't want it to come down to points or SOS. So hopefully we're going to have that game not next week, but the week following because, life. But I just wanted to reveal everyone's standings. So like I said, Nick and Carson will either be first or second, depending on their game. So as it stands now, and how it works is that your record takes precedent, and then it goes to points if you tie on record, and then if you tie on points, it goes down to SOS. Okay. So third place is our very own Daniel.
Yeah.
Oh.
Then fourth place is Omar. Fifth place is Roman. 6th is Adam. 7 is Caleb. 8th is Jose. 9 is Jonathan. 10th is Garrett. 11th is David. And your very own in 12th place, JR. So I'm going to post this later on in the Discord. You're going to see your standings and you're going to see the points accumulated. Like I said, if you are tied on both your standings and points, it's going to come down to SOS. I definitely want feedback from you guys on the system. Anything I could do better, anything you kind of felt was unfair. Because like I said, I'm trying to figure out a better system. Yeah, obviously, there's probably not going to be a perfect system, but the system that I use this tournament, was a result of that. And I'm going to post another thing in the Discord about prizes, what you guys are going to win. And based on your standing, you guys will get to pick your prize. So congratulations to all you guys. Thank you guys for playing, and hope you guys had fun.
I think I would have made top 4, maybe top 5 if I would have took the time to paint my stuff.
Yeah, that was the interesting thing is like there definitely would have been a definite winner if Carson had just painted his army, but he didn't paint his army.
That's all right. I mean, championship game, Mr. Free Grogu against the guy who I still have PTSD from playing. So speaking of PTSD and traumatic experiences, Daniel, you want to talk to us about your experience at SoCal Open?
Sure, yeah. So This was my first in-person tournament, so I really didn't know exactly what to expect. But it was a lot of fun. So I guess I'll just run through my games real quick. I showed up and I was bringing my droid list that I've been practicing with. So it's four B1s with the E5S, one naked B1 with just the HQ uplink, a tactical droid, and then two Magnas with offensive push and tenacity, and then Cad Bane and Bosk with a bunch of upgrades. So the idea behind my list is that I'll kind of be at long range with Bosk and my sniper rifles. Um, Cad Bane will be harassing people at range 2. You'll maybe have Magnus at range 2 or at range 4, depending on like what matchup works better for me. So either they charge in and help Cad, or they back out and shoot with their rocket. Um, I took a 9-point bid, and in my head I was like, that's a pretty good bid. I played Invader League. I got blue 4 out of 5 games. And that's kind of what I expected based on what we saw at the other tournaments. I only got to choose if I was blue 1 game out of my 5. So the average bid I
Yeah,
encountered was like 15 points. It was insane.
that's
I got to
crazy.
be blue 2 games because one of my opponents chose to let me be blue. But man, I was surprised by the bids that I ran into.
I'm surprised too.
Yeah.
Was it? Did it seem like it mattered when they chose to be blue? Did it seem like oh, your battle deck obviously they want to play? Did it affect you that much to where you're just like, oh, okay, I should have probably bidded more?
Yeah, I'm trying to look at these lists. None of them do anything that I'm really worried about. I think, yeah, all these lists were close enough to what I was doing where it didn't matter that much.
Okay.
First game, so at this tournament, they allowed people to use IG-88, IG-11, and Mando. And I ran into both an IG-88 and a Mando. So we'll get to hear about how those performed.
Eh,
First game, I ran into, I played against Philip. He was running Clan Ren, Sabine, the Mandalorian. He had a bunch of core, an officer, and a couple snipers. So basically, his list was really all of his points are in the Mandalorians. He's got 2 hero Mandalorians and Clan Ren, and he just wants to run into your face and kill you. Sabine did not run the dark saber, so she's just the shooty version of Sabine. With we he had a 15-point bid, so we went with his battle deck. We ended up with breakthrough, which I was a little bit concerned about, but we both had 10 acts, so it wasn't like a huge disadvantage for me. We played hemmed in, and he was blue player, so he had the one single central deployment zone, and I had the 2 side ones. And then we played the supply drop, which in this game nobody got anything super good out of the supplies, so it didn't matter that much. But yeah, that's what we played. The way that the game ended up working out, I totally forgot that Mando had a bounty. And so he sets up his army, I set up my army, and I put Bosk in one of my hemmed in corners, the left one, all on his own, but he's like behind buildings and stuff. And so his idea was he was going to try to harass, because it was very clear like I was going to rotate into his zone, he was going to rotate into my mostly empty zone, and that was going to be how we scored. And it was going to be about who could either collect bounties or stop people. But I forgot that he could collect a bounty. So I put Bosk on his own in the building to kind of try to hold off people because he's so good at putting out suppression and killing things that have to run at him in the open. But then he was like, "Well, I'll put the bounty on Bosk." That makes sense. So Mando's gonna just try to run at Bosk and kill him, and if he does, then that's a pretty big point swing for us. So the way it works out, he ends up charging first turn with Mando. He steps onto Bosk or Cad's bomb with Mando, which I think was a mistake. So he steps onto Cad's bomb, he takes 1 wound, and he gets 2 suppression. I also am able to shoot him with Bosk. So because he's rebels, he doesn't have very good order control. So I was able to hold Bosk till the end. Bosk just swung around, took a shot, and importantly, that means that he has 4 suppression going into the second round. I found in this game, and this is my second time playing against Mando, that Mando has the same problem that Grievous has, where when he's running at you, he hates suppression because he really needs both actions. And so if you can suppress him, which isn't that hard, like he's courage 3, so it's harder than Grievous, but it's not terribly hard. If you can suppress him, then it messes up his day. And that's exactly the situation he had at this point. He had 3 suppressions sitting on him. He was hoping he could maybe pull off 1. when he rolled the next turn. So then we both play 1 pips, me trying to put on 2 more suppression with Bosk, him trying to not let that happen. I win the roll off, Bosk shoots him again, puts 2 more suppression on. His 1 pip is the Mandalorian's relentless play. So this is his turn where he can move, shoot. And so he was trying to just jump in, get a first shot on Bosk, but instead Bosk was able to shoot him, put 2 more suppression on, and then back around the building out of line of sight. So Mando's 1 pip is basically wasted. He only is able to take 1 move, and when he moves, he's not in range of anybody. So that kind of set the tone of everything. All of his army is kind of shifting behind Mando. My whole army is shifting up into that zone. He put 1 sniper on each side because he didn't know where Cad was, and he didn't want both snipers to get killed by Cad. Cad popped up, killed a sniper, so I'm up on axe. And then the round 2, Cad was actually able to double move and pick up a bounty on his rebel officer. So at this point, I'm up a point because of bounty, and then I also I'm up in activation, which in this game is basically a point because our whole army both armies are going to successfully be able to rotate. And so it comes down to whether or not he's going to be able to collect that bounty. We go round 3, round 4. He's trying to shoot Bosk, and he's getting Bosk pretty wounded, but Bosk is able just to avoid him and jump into contact with a squad of rebel troops. And so basically at that point, like, the game was completely decided. I had all of my acts inside of deployment zone except for Bosk. He was missing 2 or 3 acts based on things that I'd killed, and everything else was in his zone. And so his option was he could either run out and try to, like, maybe kill a bunch of things on round 5, 6, or he could just call it. He tried to run out and kill things, but not even close to enough died, and he wasn't able to get Clan Ren back in. So I won that one. It was a really good game, but yeah, it came down to the fact that Mandalorian is very impacted by suppression, and bounty is really good on breakthrough.
You know what's funny is I agree with you 100%, and I agree that, like, Din, he wants to be in melee with you. And he's trying to get there, which is so funny because, like, a force user trying to do the same thing, but he's not a force user. So yeah, that approach is very important to get him at.
Yep.
Well, I was thinking too, like, I never even thought about the suppression to get rid of his ambient rifle because it takes 2 actions.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah. So just throw on 3 suppression, you're good to go.
Yep.
I say like it's an easy thing to do.
Yeah. Well, with Bosk, it's not that hard. That's 2 suppression from range 4. I have a bunch of E5Ss, and really people talked about how, like, the E5S isn't a good weapon anymore because crits don't go through. And I agree with, like, yeah, it doesn't deal much damage anymore, but being able to put on a suppression at range 4 is a really big deal. And so just a lot of times they would shoot and just, they don't really care. They've got that red die. They're mostly just trying to put a suppression on. And this was one of those games where, yeah, they were able to help hound the Mandalorian, and it was a really big deal.
And yeah, because, like, that's Pic's biggest weakness is suppression. And even though you're not getting one through because of the dodges, you're putting a suppression on, which causes them to only take 1 act.
Yep.
Yeah, it's still good.
Yeah. Good really trade to me.
Yeah, so that was round 1. I won my first round. I felt really good. I was undefeated at tournament play at this point, so that was nice.
Heck yeah.
We went to round 2. I played against Chris Schaefer, and he was running a similar list. He had Sabine and Clan Ren. So I was surprised to see back-to-back Sabine's Clan Ren. This Sabine also didn't have the Darksaber.
Everyone's on that Mando hype.
Yeah. Yeah. This list though was basically DLTs. So it had 2 DLT troopers, 2 pike full pike squads, and then a pike officer, a rebel officer, and 1 naked squad of fleets, and 2 snipers. So he was actually up on me on axe. He was 11 to my 10, and he's basically a really long range gun line plus Sabine. So this is really similar to, like, the Luke DLT list, except you replace Luke with Sabine and Clan Ren. And we played his deck because he had a massive bid as well. And his deck, we ended up playing Intercept the Transmissions, Danger Close, and Hostile Environment. This game, I made a mistake right out the gate. We were playing Danger Close, and so most of my army went kind of in the back bottom towards me to hide behind this building. But I found this little spot where I could put Bosk to try to get a flank on a bunch of his troops. So he had an officer and the naked squad of fleets kind of hanging out on the left on their own. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to send Bosk. He's going to get a range 4 and he's going to pick off these guys, start giving me activation advantage, and then he'll be able to eventually like shift around and make a pretty good flank. The issue was I found that I'm really bad at using circular buildings with line of sight. I don't know what it is, but I cannot, like, I look at something, I'm like, he's going to be hidden if he moves here. And then I put him there, like, he is obviously not hidden. Like, he's basically just all hanging out. He doesn't even have cover.
Wait,
And so, yeah,
I was gonna say, did it come down to the silhouette rule, or just obviously he was out in the open?
he was just obviously out in the open. I poorly estimated where a move 2 could get him. So round 1, he double moved to get into a good spot. Round 2, he got shot really early, and it was a really good shot through heavy cover. So it was just kind of a lucky roll, but I mean, he was in a dangerous-ish spot, so I wasn't that shocked by it. He got like 4 or 5 wounds. And so then his plan was, I had played his 2-pip, he was going to shoot, move. And so he shot, and then he was going to move to hide. And I start measuring the moves and I'm like, oh no, he can't get anywhere that's safe. Like in my head, I was like, he could kind of scoot to here and he'll hide. And so I put the movement and I looked and I was like, oh, this line of sight, it's not going to hide anything. Like it's going to be basically sitting in the open. And so Bosk actually, I think he survived that round because I got some good rolls and I ended up hiding him in a spot where he got heavy cover. So he wasn't line of sight hidden. And a couple more shots got put into him. He had 1 wound going into the final round. And then final round, first activation, he killed him with a sniper. So that was pretty rough. Once that happened, the game just kind of all went downhill. He just slowly started pushing me back at range 4 with his gun line. So he would just kind of move up to exactly range 4, shoot at either B1s or Magnas. Smartly, he completely ignored Cad Bane because Cad Bane is really, really hard to kill. So he just kept pushing me back. He first intercept point, I got 2 to his 1. Second intercept point, he had pushed me off of the middle, so he got 2 to my 1. And then third intercept point, he got again the middle in his, and I only got mine. So Clan Ren and Sabine are really hard to kill when they have like good dodge support. And so that 3-pip from Mercenaries is really good because you can put that out on them. And then Clan Ren can take the aim for their retinue. And that's really devastating. So
Yeah.
I'm really liking how Clan Ren and Sabine work with like the current meta. I hadn't thought about it, but they worked really well here.
Yeah, they're so damn hard to kill, especially with that nimble. I was hoping a Shadow Collective Mandos would have nimble because everyone that's came out has nimble.
Mhm.
But one day I'll run a nimble squad.
I'm kind of okay with them not having nimble because they just have so many other good keywords.
That's true. That's true.
So I'm 1-1 at this point. I go to round 3. So I think I'm probably out of the top cut because in this tournament, they were going to do 3 rounds of Swiss and then a top 8 cut. So top 8 will all get to basically just play in a bracket. So round 3, I played against an Anakin Padme list. So this was a fun game. He again outbid me because everyone outbid me in this tournament. and so we played his battle deck. So we played Breakthrough again. Breakthrough, Major Offensive, and Clear Conditions. So Major Offensive is probably the deployment zone that I like the least with my list, just because I want to be able to get onto a flank with my bounty hunters. But the way that it worked out, because we're doing Breakthrough, with Major Offensive, you kind of, the closest is corner to corner. So I set my army kind of up in my top corner. He set his kind of in his far little offside corner. And then we were just going to kind of charge at each other. It was Magnas showing down with Anakin. And so Anakin charges in, my Magnas go forward, and we're shooting at range 4. He's got his clone troopers kind of doing some shooting. This list also had 2 barks and 1 sniper rifle, or 1 echo. So the 2 barks and echo started kind of on his far side, and I put Cad's Cad token over on that side. And so Cad revealed himself and started dealing with those. He killed at the end of the game, Cat had killed the Barks and killed, or no, he hadn't killed Echo, but he had harassed Echo enough where Echo wasn't really a thing anymore. And so the way that the game went, we basically showed down with Anakin and the Magnus. He was trying to push his whole army through that area. The Magnus were just trying to hold him because I ended up sneaking Cad, Bosk, one squad of B1s, and my tactical droid. They all just kind of left that engagement and went around the left side to try to get into his deployment zone over there. And clones are just not very mobile, so they weren't really able to go and deal with that. So I was able to get like 4 or 5 in on that side. Wasn't able to pick up a bounty because Anakin and Padme are both very, very tough with dodge spam. But then on his side, he was probably going to be able, I was looking at the numbers and was like, oh, he's probably going to be able to get Anakin in because it's just so hard to stop someone who has force push. He'll probably be able to get Padme in because Anakin can kind of facilitate that. And then he's got 2 squads of clones that can probably get in. So I'm looking at him like, I'm probably in good shape now. And so all I want to do is just cause as many problems as possible. And so I just charge him with my Magnus. Magnus tied up people. And then one of the Magnus actually got just a really solid charge on Anakin, and we ended up bringing him down. Once Anakin died, he was just like, oh yeah, good game. There's nothing I can do to stop your people from getting in. And now I'm probably not going to be able to get my people in. It's like, yeah, that's basically how it shakes out. So it was a really good game. Yeah, I think Breakthrough is really hard for clones, just because they're not that mobile of an army. Because they want to do fire supports, especially if they can fire support Anakin's saber throw. They want to do just moving and token sharing, and so they kind of all want to stay together. So I was kind of surprised that Breakthrough was in his list. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the same thing you do, but at the same time, I think the reason why most clone players take Breakthrough is because you technically don't have to move, right? You can make it a kill point game if you just kill everything on their approach.
I could see
if you
that.
have a good enough positioning.
And he did have
Yeah.
Barks, but Cad was able to take those out. So
Yeah.
So I could see him thinking I can probably score with Barks and then stop things from scoring on me. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was looking at that list, and I don't think I would have took the Barks just for what Dieter said. If I'm playing Breakthrough, I'm playing defense. Come to me.
Well, Barks are good on Breakthrough as well, but the reason why you're seeing a lot of Barks now is they're only 55 points, and you need that act padding in clones right now with everything so high. So that's why it makes sense.
55 points is so cheap too, because I mean, I can talk about it in a minute, but in my final game, at one point I was doing math of like making trades, and it's like, I'll trade this B1 for a Bark and that'll be a good trade. I'm like, no, my B1 squad is 56 points. That's ridiculous. That's cheaper than my B1 squad.
Right.
Yep. But yeah, so I went 2-1. I assumed that I wasn't going to move forward, but I was wrong. I made the top 8 cut because the guy that I lost to, Chris, ended up being the top seed going into the final round. So
nice.
So he went 3-0, got top seed, and then Philip, the guy I played in round 1, ended up going 2-1. And this tournament was strength of schedule. So my strength of schedule looked really, really good. So I was able to make it into the top 8 bracket, which is really exciting.
Heck yeah.
So the next day I come back, we're going into top 8 bracket, and I play Matt Branson. And he is the #1 ranked player in North America. I did not know that at the time.
Oh.
He was obviously very, very competent because you could tell just by the way he was playing. He played really, really quick and did all of his measurements quick and did them all well. And so we set up.
Before you go on, how do you know he's the #1 ranked? Off of what?
He was #1 on Elo.
Oh, Elo, got it. Oh, yeah. From last year.
Yep.
Ooh, I'm trying to climb the ladder.
Or I think it's from this year because he won one of the recent tournaments. Totally blanking on it. But yeah.
It's Bushman's Elo, not the TTS one.
Bushman's
okay,
Elo.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. So he has bid on me again. He's looking at my list, and his list is IG-88. So this is the IG game. He's got IG-88 Boba, and then basically the Iden long range thing that you're seeing a lot from Empire. So he's got a couple sniper rifles. He's got Inferno Squad and Iden, and then he's got what else was there? I should probably pull up his list.
So on his Imperial off, he has Imperial Office, so he has Underworld. It took me a minute to remember that Boba
That
is no
he has
longer
to.
Empire. Yeah, that he has
Yep.
to.
Yep.
I was like, why did you
Yeah.
put that on? I have his list up. It's Imperial Officer, Underworld, Binoculars, Iden, with the 2 guns as loadout. Did not bring the droid. Boba C's 88 with C's and targeting scopes, 2 shores, 2 motors, Inferno Squad with Del Gideon, of course, and emergency transponder, 2 strikes with the sniper.
Yep. Okay, so he looked at my list, which is double bounty droids, and his list, which is double bounty Imperial, that both kind of want to sit at range 4. And so he has bid on me, and he decided that probably our battle decks are similar, and so he wanted to go red so he could pick what final thing we played. And I think this was the one mistake that he made, was that my battle deck, while it is similar, at least I guess I assume is similar, and he said this right afterwards, our deployments are very different. Because even though I do want to do range 4 stuff, I'm a range 4/range 2 list where I want to also have that option to dive in with Magnus, and Cad has to play at range 2. And so I'm more of a skirmish, like pop into range 2, but also have range 4 threats type list. And so while I look similar to his out the gate, our deployments are different enough where, and we ended up playing Danger Close, which his list does not want to play because Cad gets to start super close. And we used rapid reinforcements, which also his list doesn't want to do. But I just rapid reinforce both my Magnus. So I think I got a little bit of an advantage coming in from the battle deck. We played rapid reinforcements, Danger Close, and Sabotage the Moisture Evaporators.
And this was your battle deck.
This was my battle deck, yeah, because he chose to go red.
Got it.
The interesting thing that we had, it's because both of us have double bounty. There's actually a lot of potential point swing, even though it sabotaged the Moisture Evaporators, because both of us could collect up to 2 more points and then could also lose those points again. So I ended up bountying his officer and IG-88 because Boba's really, really hard to kill. And then he bountied Cad and my tactical droid. I ended up setting up most of my army up on the top to be super close to him. And then I dropped my Cad token basically right next to the army, maybe range 1 closer to him. There was a bunch of buildings that were all staggered next to each other that were all height 1 and really good line of sight blockers right next to his deployment. And that was perfect for Cad. I just put Cad right there, and every turn he was literally able just to hop up onto a building, shoot, or hop around a building, shoot, and then hop back out of line of sight. It was really, really nice. I don't think I could have made a better section of a map for Cad to play on. So that ended up being a problem for him. I rapid reinforced both of my Magnus. He rapid reinforces one of his squads of shore troopers, just because he has to. It's not actually beneficial for him. We go into round 1, and I reveal Cad. First activation, Cad jumps out and takes a shot into range 2, open shot into Inferno Squad. And he shoots into Inferno Squad, rolls his 4 black, gets all 4. Inferno Squad rolls their 4 defense, rolls 1 out of 4, and takes 3 wounds. It's literally the absolute, or no, they roll. Oh, sorry, they had heavy cover down to light. So they roll their 3, roll 1 out of 3, and it gets pierced through. So it was literally the absolute maximum amount of damage that Cad could have dealt. And so I did that, and I was like, oh, that was really good. That was pretty lucky. But that's basically how the entire game went. His red dice saved worse than my white dice saved. And I don't think Cad missed a single die roll the entire game. I've never seen this level of like luck variance. My stuff wouldn't die and wouldn't miss, and his stuff would shoot. It shot just fine, except for IG-88, who I think, so IG-88 throws 3 white, 3 black at range 3. And he shot at Magna Guards because I dropped my Magna Guards to try to get at range 2. So they started exactly at range 2 of people, and they're going to run up. He shoots at them with IG-88, and IG-88 rolls nothing on his first roll, but he's got an aim. He rerolls his, he rerolls, and he only gets 1. So it's just blocked by cover. and then second shot, second round, he goes before the before my Magnus because doesn't want them to be able to charge in and do anything. Shoots at them, rolls. He got 1 out of 6, and then he rolls and he got 1 more. So after cover, he got 1 through, and that's on 2 IG88 shots. And so there's really not much to say tactically about this game, because I did take advantage of the fact that I was rolling well and he was not, and that I was able to just to push him. But it was a ridiculous game of like, well, how far can I keep pushing my luck? I mean, these battle droids just shot Iden for 4. I guess they'll try again. Oh, they did it again. Nice. Good job, boys.
You're
And
you're
it
welcome,
was
bro.
it
I
was
pray
a
to the
ridiculous game.
I
I
pray to
felt
the
really
dice
bad.
guys for you.
Yeah. So I can't take any credit for this win. I think I did get an advantage out of the battle decks, and I think I did play well. Assuming, playing my, I guess it's really hard to say if I played well or not, because my dice would have made it. Every decision I made was great because my dice said good job no matter what I did. I ended up being able to get 1 squad of Magnus basically to where they could tap his evaporator. No one collected any bounties, but I killed everything except for Boba. Boba and the officer, I think. So it was a crazy game of dice variance. Yeah. So that got me into the semifinals, where I played another Anakin Padme list. And this is the one that was on the live stream. And we played I'm looking at the wrong list. We played Recover Supplies, Disarray, and Clear Conditions. And the mistake I made was I did not check if Boss could stand on top. I made a couple mistakes right out the gate, but the main one that affected me in the game was I didn't check if Boss could stand on top of a building. There was a slightly domed building up near one of my disarray corners, and in my head I was like, I'm gonna send Bosk up there. He's gonna go stand on that building and just shoot at things at range 4. He'll have permanent heavy cover, and then whenever he's done with that, he'll climb down and run away. Like that was the whole game plan, because there was really no other cover there, which was kind of nice for him shooting because no one could hide from him. The problem was that it was ever so slightly domed, and it was super, super slick. So if you put a guy on there, he just slid right off. And so so at one point, I think it was like round 2, Bosk is going, and this was his turn. He was supposed to climb up there and just start shooting at things. And I try to go climb up there, and I realize he can't stand up here. he's now on the ground facing a bunch of squads of troopers, very tentatively not able to get cover because there's only like a slight curve that he can kind of back up and hide behind. So that put me on the back foot a little bit of like, oh, I was expecting to just kind of him grab his box, go climb up on top of this building, be safe from anyone who can jump and shoot at people. But that's not how that went at all. So I made that mistake. I was able to pick up the middle box with CAD because CAD is super good at it, and Republic, like we talked about a minute ago, is not very mobile. And so that middle box being so far away, I just put CAD's token on it. It's like no one can really threaten him. And so CAD grabbed the middle box, no problem. And the other mistake I made right out the gate was I should have just put both of my boxes next to one of my corners. In my head, I was like, it'll be cool for Boss to go and pick up a box and then climb up on top of the building. But there's no reason to do that. That's a much riskier play than just putting both of them next to my army and saying, yep, my Magnus go out and grab my boxes, and then they just leave. And CAD grabs the middle one and leaves, and that's the game. Like I could have almost for sure done that with very little repercussions. His only response to that would have been to split his army so that he could try to get a flank on the guys who were literally just running away. But instead, I tried to be trickier, and I put the box with Bosk, and it did not work. Round 1, I collected my 1 box that was on the bottom side of my map. My whole army is on the bottom side of my map, and his whole army is on the bottom side of his map. And so we're just going to face off. There's 2 boxes between us. I'm getting the middle box. We both kind of accepted this. I wanted to get my box, but because of the box situation, things got sketchy. And so then it all comes down to these 2 boxes down at the bottom, or me collecting a bounty. So the 2 boxes at the bottom, he sends Anakin forward. I swing guys out and shoot at Anakin, give Anakin some wounds. He also triggered a bomb, which gave him some wounds. And so Anakin gets hurt pretty bad round 1. I think he's got 3 wounds on him. So he takes a standby with Padme. And in my head, I'm like, I'm just not going to trigger this standby. I'll just let him, I'll just let the standby burn. But then he takes one of his barks and he triggers Cad's token in the middle, which I was really surprised by. I thought he was just going to let Cad sit, because I didn't reveal Cad, and because I thought he was maybe going to try to make a play for the middle. He did not. So I didn't reveal Cad, but then he flew in and revealed Cad, which surprised me. But Cad was at range of Anakin, and so then I had this choice of, I could go with Cad and pick up the box and get a free shot that I wasn't planning on taking. But then he'll get to go with Anakin with his standby. But Anakin doesn't have any of his good keywords. He's just a token battery round one. And so I decided, I'll let him take his standby. And with his standby, I thought he was going to try to move in to try to support his clone troopers that were picking up the box, but he did not. Anakin literally just ran away. And so when that happened, I was like, well, this changes everything, because now I have a box. I have 2 squads of Magnas that can go and reach this other box that only has 1 squad of clone troopers protecting it. And in my head, I'm like, 2 squads of Magnas versus 1 squad of clone troopers in melee. I know who wins this fight. And it's the Magnas. The Magnas just chew this up, spit it out, take the box, and that's the game, right? So round 2, we open up. I charge in my Magnas. First charge goes in, and they take the aim off of retinue, and they also pop their offensive push to get a second aim. They go in, and they only end up getting 4 out of their 8 dice after the 2 aims. And I'm like, oh no, this is much less threatening. He's able to get, I think, 1 or 2 dodges based off the different dodge support he has from Padme and or Anakin. And then he's able to roll successes on the rest of the dice. I'm like, okay, it's okay. I have 1 more squad of Magnas that'll come in. And so then I charge with the second squad of Magnas. They come roaring in, and they again only get like 3 or 4 hits. And these guys have tenacity, so they have the extra red dice. And then he rolls all successes on those guys as well. It's like, oh no. So at this point, a squad of clone troopers has withstood 2 Magnas with 0 casualties. It's like, okay, I'll kill him next turn. It'll be fine. Well, then he swings back with the squad of clone troopers, and they swing for 6, and they swing for 5. They hit them all with no aims. Like, okay, well, that's really bad. And then I'm like, it's okay. I'll lose maybe 1 Magna, and I roll, and he deals 4 wounds out of 5. 2 Magnas go down, and I'm like, okay. So here's what happens. 2 Magnas come charging in at this clone squad. They completely whiff, and then they turn around. The clones just turn around and punch these guys in the face and drop 2 of them. It's like, oh no, this game. Oh, it was rough.
That was your payback for the previous game.
It was my payback for the previous game. All of my rolls came back to bite me.
It was brutal to watch, because I was watching the game and you had put early wounds on Anakin, and I was like, oh, you got this, Dan, you got this. And then the Magnus go in and whiff, and then they just whiff, and I was just like, damn, that sucks.
The truth is that I should never have put myself in a situation where I needed the Magnus to take that box. I should have just had the 2 boxes in my zone, grabbed them, walked away. Because literally, because I was able to scare off Anakin, there was no one even approaching my zone except for 1 bark, which he can't even pick up a box. I don't care about a bark. And so I would have won that game real easy if I had just taken that 1 box that was with Bosk, put it next to my other boxes, and then just had Cad pick up the middle box. That's all I had to do. But I did not do that. I did not make good life decisions. I decided to rely on Magna dice, and the Magnas did not win their fight.
To give you the benefit of the doubt, though, going the smarter route that you said, it makes for a boring game, and it just sucks when you play a boring game because you want to actually play a game.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I wanted to win the game though, and then I could have played another game.
That's true. That's true.
So it was near round 4 or 5. We only played 5 rounds because of time. So round 4, I realized he had backed up Anakin. He kept backing up Anakin because Anakin was afraid to die. And he backed up in such a way where he was actually now at range 4 of a building that Bosk could scale. Not the stupid domed one, but a little one that he could go stand on. I was like, okay, this will be interesting, because I'm losing now 2 boxes to 3, because he's able to move his guys up and pick up the box that Bosk basically had to abandon because he can't take 2 open shots from squads. He'll just die. With white saves are not that good. And so he backs up to a spot where Bosk can take a shot. And this was Bosk lying in wait turn. So Bosk is just accumulating aims. I'm like, well, okay, I can take a shot. This is my big Hail Mary play. And if I collect the bounty, next turn, Bosk can just run away. And we'll be tied 3-3. I'll be up on kill points because I've killed his Barks at this point. He's killed one of my squads of Magnas, but killing Anakin, that'll more than offset those points. And so I take the shot with Bosk. He does his big scale and shoot, and he takes his shots, and he only gets off his first roll, he gets nothing, and then off of each aim, he adds 1. Except for the last one, he had 4 aims, so he ended up just getting 3 crits, which was a little bit disappointing. Usually, you expect Boss to get full boat off of his big lying in wait turn. So I shoot in, open shot into Anakin, 3 crits. He rolls, he only saves 1, which was almost sadder than him just saving them all, because then it's like, I was one success away from being able to kill Anakin. But yeah, so that was kind of my last shot at trying to get back into the game, because that would have tied up victory points and then put me ahead in kill points. But he went with Anakin after that, and I was hoping that he would try to use Anakin either to try to push Cad, because Cad was coming around to try to harass his boxes, and that would keep him inside of range of Bosk. But he made the smart play and just took Anakin and walked outside of Bosk's range. And so at that point, I'm looking at it and it's like, okay, so next turn Bosk has 2 options. He can either leave so he doesn't die because he's sitting on 1 or 2 wounds, or he can jump in and try to finish off Anakin for the bounty and stand in the open with like 4 squads of troops. That didn't seem like a good option. So last round, he's got his 2 box squads. I decide my big plan, the only way I can get back in is I need him to drop a box, and I need Anakin to die. That's the 2 things that have to happen, because I'm behind on points if Anakin doesn't die. So Anakin has to die. He needs to be 1 box short. So my play is Cad can get in range of one of the guys that's carrying a box, and it's only a 2-man squad. If Cad can kill that squad, then Boss can jump into melee with the squad of pikes, and then the pikes can't pick it up, and that's the game. Cad makes his move, shoots in, and he successfully wipes the squad of clone troopers. So I'm like, oh, excellent. So now there's a box sitting down. We're both holding 2 boxes. All I have to do is I have to tie up this squad of pikes. That also means he has to not pull them from the bag. I don't think he realized how much danger he was in at this point, because he ended up going with the other squad of clone troopers, and they just shot into Bosk, and they got a good enough roll. They ended up killing Bosk. But if they hadn't killed Bosk would have jumped down into melee, and that actually would have been a win for me, assuming I was able to kill Anakin. At that point, the game's literally just over, but we're playing the end of it just for fun. And so I just decided I just want to kill Anakin, just because I was mad that Anakin was harassing me still. And so I sent all of my V1s around the corner, and they took shots at Anakin, and they weren't able to kill him, but we were actually able to panic him off the board, thanks to a slightly bad suppression roll. So
I just love it thematically, like Anakin scared of the fight, and Padme's like, "What are you doing? Get in here!"
Yeah. Yep. I think Anakin attacked once and Padme attacked once, so they attacked the same amount. I was hoping that Padme attacked more, but no, I don't think she did. I think they
But
both
she was
get
the
shot
token
once.
battery, right? She was just battering up.
Well,
Yeah.
honestly, both of them were just token batteries, because he had what's it called, the defensive stance, where he took 2 dodges.
Makes sense.
But yeah, so that was my whole SoCal experience. It was really fun. I think I learned a lot. What I realized probably primarily is that I'm really good with CAD, but my Bosk play is not so good. Both the games that I lost was because I relied too much on Bosk being able to make plays with people in his face, which is not so easy. So I think like my CAD play is really good, but my Bosk play needs improvement if I want to keep playing this list.
I was gonna say it was like it's hard because Bosk is really good, but Bosk is still rolling white attack dice, and
Yeah.
white attack dice do white attack dice things, and when you rely on those, it sucks.
Yep.
Did they do chess clocks for the final rounds or no?
No, it was just a timer.
the timer.
Dude, nobody likes chess clocks but you. Okay.
I like chess
love
clocks.
chess.
I would like chess
Yes.
clocks. Yeah.
That would
I've
have been a
never
whole different
experienced it.
game.
Yeah, because if we could play one more round,
Yeah.
what would I have done different? I think Bosk would have gone first and he would have shot and then backed off. So
Who-
he wouldn't die.
Who was the faster opponent in that game?
Um, it's really hard to say because you always think that you're going faster, but you don't know because when you're stalling, it's because you're thinking. So you're never you never think that you're sitting there. I would have to go watch the stream and see, but
Yeah, that's why I like chess clocks. It's like, no offense to my opponent, but like controlling them going, hate that. Like it's on the same time, whereas chess clock, it's on your time. You do what you want, my man.
yeah.
So man, yeah, killer game, bro. I was watching the whole thing, and I didn't know where you had put the other box. I was like, I think he's got 3 bucks. What's he doing? And then now I know now because Bosk.
That's what
Yeah.
it is that Bosk, I put that Bosk in a terrible spot. Well, not
thought-
terrible, in a bad
Yeah.
spot.
I saw that box. I thought that was your opponent's box. Like he's gonna have 4 boxes.
Hey, top 3 is not a bad
Good
showing.
game.
There
Yeah,
is
no, I was
SoCal.
really excited about it.
There is the what is it, Battle at the Bay or something like that this coming up weekend. I won't be there. I know Jared's not going. Are you going?
No.
Yeah. We'll have a couple.
I know. Yeah.
Toby's
Toby
gonna
and his
go.
brother.
Yeah, Toby and his brother are going. Garrett's going. Carson will be there for X-Wing. I don't think he's getting Legion, and I mean, unless he can play 2 games at once, which the way that guy plays, I won't be surprised. So congratulations, top 3. Not a bad showing for your first tournament ever.
Heck
Thanks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Killer games, Daniel. Killer games.
Yeah, I was at a family reunion and I was like, sorry guys, can't talk right now. Gotta watch Daniel. Sorry. All right, hey, we're pushing time, so let's jump into Leia's command cards.
Are we gonna have time to do Leia's command cards and rules questions?
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
Yes. All right, because Leia's command cards are pretty simple. They're not going to be too in depth. Let's go ahead and I will take a 1 pip. That 1 pip is called Coordinated Bombardment. Leia Organa, just her by herself. At the end of Leia Organa's activation, she may perform up to 3 attacks against different enemy units using the following weapons. Range 4 to infinite, 2 reds, immune to effect. I love it. The only thing I would like to see on it is blast. But for me, I always use these cards, maximum overpower, aerial bombardment and stuff. This is usually my turn 1 card. Just because that's
I was gonna say it doesn't need blast because she has sharpshooter too.
Right.
true, but I still want blast. I like
Just thematically.
I like keywords, okay? But I don't know. For me, turn 1, open it up, 2 shots. I mean, get lucky, no cover, sharpshooter 2. You take out a sniper squad, and then boom, you're up in activations already.
Yeah,
So-
I agree. Yeah, I agree with you. This card's really good. You make them roll turn 1. That's important.
Worst case scenario, you get a suppression turn 1. But I mean, on red dice, you're at least hitting 1. JR, you want to take 2?
Yeah. So 2 is 2 pip. It's 2 troopers. When a friendly trooper unit is issued an order, it may perform a speed 1 move. This is very situational. It's okay. It's not bad to have a speed 1 move. Also to know is that if you have a bunch of HQ uplinks, they'll get benefit from this speed 2. Unit is issued an order. Yeah, you'll get a speed 1 issue. So it's very situational and could potentially turn the tides in your favor.
I don't know if it's that situational. I think it's pretty strong, especially because almost all objectives say that it has to be outside of range 1 of your deployment zone. So if you play this opening, then you'll be a one move away from all of your objectives. So if you want to tap your evaporator earlier, if you want to grab your box earlier, this is a really, really good card.
I agree. I like it. Again, another turn 1, turn 2 card. Just because it's gonna get you there. I mean, a speed 1 move as soon as you're issued an order, that could be the difference between your opponent getting an open sniper shot or not.
Yeah.
The reason why I say it's situational is because I most likely think you play your coordinate bombardment turn 1, and then you save this for a situation because you don't want to play this on turn 1 just to get the the VAPS box, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
That is,
probably. Yeah.
go ahead. Go
Could
ahead.
be like a solid turn 2 or turn 3 if you're like going for a middle box and recover or something like that.
yeah,
Daniel, 3-pip?
Somebody has to save our skins. So this is a 3-pip. It gives orders to Leo Organa and 2 units. After Leia's activation, you may choose a friendly unit at range 1 to 2 with a face-up order token and activate it. This is kind of a weird card. This one I think is probably out of her cards the most situational because activation count is such a big thing in Legion. Being able to last first with things is really, really strong. So this could kind of help you first, but it also means that you're going to be behind in activations the rest of your turn. So it's almost like a fire support situation where you have to weigh the cost really carefully of actually doing the extra activation.
Yeah,
I
again,
like
for
playing.
me, go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say, yeah, I like playing this card with OP Luke because then you go with Leia and then probably give him a dodge and then immediately go with Luke to make a play, which is super fun. But like, yeah, I agree with you. It's very situational.
Yeah, it's hard too because Leia's a fairly activation neutral activation, so you don't really want to go with her that early most of the time. So then if it's on like a unit like Op Luke doesn't really like Leia doesn't really want to go first. So it like you said, it's really just that dodge that you're getting out of it.
So yeah, I mean it's good to me. Again, situational, I agree with all of you guys, but let's just say your game where you had to kill Anakin. I mean, this is the perfect card for it. It's just I'm gonna go with Leia. Leia doesn't kill Anakin. Hey, guess what? I'm going with OP Luke now. Like Anakin's dead. But
it's true.
There with the rebels, depending on who you take and stuff like that, I mean there are better 3-pips. This isn't an auto include for me.
Yeah.
Right. So that's Leia's cards. I mean, honestly, 2 out of 3 command cards being great, not too shabby. Somebody save our skins again. Situational, lots of potential, just not an auto include, in my opinion. So that is it. JR, you are on rules.
Yeah. All right. So I got 4 of us for today. Let's start with the first one. Is it legal for IG-11 to perform the self-destruct attack in an open transport?
Yes.
I think so, yeah, because it'd be a range attack.
Yes. So you guys are correct. It's just like anything. It says free action to explode. The cool part is that you get to measure from the transport. So it hit everything, and also it would hit the transport as well. So there's that one. Then we're gonna go to my attacking unit can only see the hostage attached to the enemy unit. Can I still attack the enemy unit? So he can only see the hostage, not anybody else in the unit, just the hostage that is carrying. Can he attack the unit?
I don't think so.
No
I think
way.
you have to have, because what mini would you remove? You can't see any of the minis. Like if
And
you
then
successfully attack.
the hostage is considered a friendly unit. Right.
So you guys are both right. The hostage is an objective token and not a targetable part of the unit it is claimed by.
I mean, if
All
that's
right.
the case, they're in priority supplies. I could see your box. I'm shooting you.
Yeah.
Right? You have to hide the box now? Like, hide the box, I can see us. If you have Lando with underworld connections, can you use his ace up his sleeves, the bottom part, to give an order to a mercenary unit? And let me read what the ace up his sleeve does. He's a commander, right? Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
So this is what ace up sleeve does. The bottom part says, before drawing from your order pool, you may instead discard this card from your contingency or hand. If you do, issue an order to Lando or a friendly unit at range 1 and 2 of him. Then activate that unit.
I actually heard the 5th trooper talk about this one, so I won't answer.
I'm gonna say yes because he has underworld connections.
No. And the reason why is Lando is not considered to be issuing the order, which is interesting. So anytime you play Ace Up Your Sleeves, Lando is not the one issuing the order. It's just Lando giving that. It's weird.
Yeah,
S-
it's pretty weird to me. I feel like because it's Lando's card, it should still count as Lando giving the order. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You could do this in No Time for Sorrows, and they'll get that speed one move, which is potential plays there could be made. It's so
Yeah, that's
funny.
true.
Yeah. So okay, the last one, and this is one I say for last because our local scene kind of was not sure about this. IG88, plays his one pip, which is I just had it up. Son of a gun. Focus on the kill. And focus on the kill says permanent while IGA is performing range, blah, blah, blah. The unit cannot spend tokens. If IGA has wounds equal to or exceeding his wound threshold, he is not defeated until the start of the end phase. So the question is if IG88 survives to turn 6, actually kills the bounty, but that means it's wound threshold, and then you go in the end phase, does he keep the bounty? Do you keep the bounty? Like this, the victory point, because it's at the end of the game and you guys are scoring.
No, because the
Yeah,
end
I think
phase.
he still dies. Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
the beginning of the end phase that he dies.
yeah. The end phase happens before the end of the game. So before the end of the game, he would be dead and lose the bounty.
Yeah, I would agree with
Okay.
that.
So yes, you guys are both correct. And here's why. Winning the game. A player wins the game either by defeating all their opponent's units or by earning the most victory tokens after 6 rounds. Okay. And what defines 6 rounds? And this is in the RRG, by the way. 6 round is divided by 3 phases: command phase, activation phase, and end phase. So I know the end phase is kind of confusing as far as because it says end, so it's the end. Sorry, it's end phase, but it's not the end.
Hmm.
So yeah, the game of Legion happens over 6 rounds, and then at the end of the 6th round is when you guys tally up your victory points. I know it's a little confusing for some people in our local scene, but yeah. So IG80 does not get the bounty; he does die turn 6. So yeah, those are my 4 questions.
Yep. Honestly, that card has gotten less interesting to me since he can't be healed back below his threshold.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it doesn't have nearly as much value. You get, depending on when he dies, you get maybe 1 extra activation with him. So
Yeah, I agree with you. It was kind of cool when you could do it the other way, and then but this card's just not that. I mean, it's still great. The top part is still great.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It's
But
just that the bottom part seemed so exciting, and then now it's like, it's kind
yeah,
of whatever.
give me an immortal droid. That's all I ask.
Just one
to,
immortal droid.
Yeah.
to play the other side though, like if I kill IG88, or if let's change it to Anakin. I kill Anakin. Anakin doesn't get his round that turn. I know that my Magna Guards are safe. Like I'm good. We're good. Now with IG88, I kill IG88 first activation round 6. My Magna Guards aren't safe anymore. Like IG88 can still do IG88 things, which could get rid of some victory points. It can make me drop a box. Like it's still a great card. It's just become less great.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be
So,
nice. I would like if it had some of those extra effects, like, oh, if you make it to round 6, you get your bounty. I think that would be kind of cool because the focused on the kill thing. But yeah, no,
yeah.
I understand where it's at, especially balance wise. It makes sense. I just, it's not as flashy.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about not as flashy. Let's see. My army has 2 operatives and no bounty hunters. I'm
Wow.
just saying. I'm just saying.
What
I'm
operatives are
still
you running
salty
right now?
Oh, we have
He's talking
2.
about.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you meant you used 2 in your. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we only have 2.
I think you guys will get some eventually. I mean, that one episode in Clone Wars where the bounties came to train the clone boys, those could be the bounties you get.
I'd be okay if they just got like some Jedi operatives, just some lower level, less powerful Jedi,
Yes.
or even, like an operative Luke level.
Some generic Jedi.
It's just kind of sad that you have to take
Generic
your
Jedi one.
your commander spot for that, but then that's where the clones need like a generic officer. So
I think they needed clones need to get the special forces Jedi. That's what they really need. That
it'd
would
be
be so
cool.
clean to
Just
have.
like 2
Yeah.
Jedi, 3 health each.
Yeah, yeah. Or and then they have one force power slot. That'd be so good.
We're going to get the Bad Batch. That's going to be a Bad Batch, and then has special ops, and it's going to be like, okay, they're okay, but then they're going to duel to Empire, or at least what's his name, the sharpshooter.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen, Adam, you just need to switch to a different army and they'll buff the clones. That's all you gotta
Hey.
do.
I heard that they're working on a new points update, so hopefully the clones are gonna get some love.
Yeah, they need some love.
So my birthday is coming up, guys. It is in 12 days, 13 days. I do have some Echo base boxes, that I want. So just you guys want to throw in together.
So you just want rebels to be nerfed? Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh no, if that's the case, I'm going CIS.
Right.
Keep the tradition. So again, guys, this week we're at Go Back Gaming. Join us in person. Join us on stream. I mean, always, as always, join us in our Discord, our Facebook, everything. We love talking to everybody. We love rules questions. We love talking trash. So join our community. Have fun. Good luck to our players going out to the Battle by the Bay. I forget what it's called, so it's Battle by the Bay now. Secure that World's End fight. I mean, I would love to see the Lost Legion members take the top 5. I mean, just Lost Legion. But, that's a perfect world. That is about all I got for us. Oh, prizes. Sorry. Prizes for the Escalation League will be handed out in order that you win. So first place gets first pick, second, blah, 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 blah. We're going to do that after the championship is decided, but your prizes are coming. They are cool. That's all I have. Daniel, you got anything?
Not really. Yeah, just don't hide behind circular buildings.
JR?
Yeah, like Adam had said, is prizes will be coming. We'll be announcing that, but I will be later on today. Put your status, the standings of the tournament winnings, aside from Carson and Nick, because they'll be battling it out. So any feedback is appreciated. So message me privately or tell me in the Discord, whatever works for you, because I want to run better tournaments and everyone have a good time as a priority. So, yep.
How long
should,
did tabulation take on that? Like, would you be able to run an in-person tournament where there was very little downtime between rounds?
Yeah. Like I was doing that in my calculations. If there's at least, I mean, less than 30 minutes, but ideally a 30-minute break or a 15-minute break, I could do a breakdown of it quickly. And especially with the points and everything, it's just everybody needs to report their points because a lot of people were just saying like, "Oh, I won." I was like, "Okay, but how'd you win? Did they concede? Did you table them? But that'd be better in person, anyways."
Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree with you, Daniel. I would want to do an 800 one, in-person one, but this is a good practicing round.
Well, we're gonna get a learn to play coming up. Set. I guess I should have done this podcast notes. Go Back Gaming is gonna be close in to learn to play in the next couple weeks, and then after that, we're gonna look at an 800-point tournament and see what we can do. Oh, bounty, guys! I kind of want to talk to you guys about bounty. Nick currently has the bounty. He has the Mando bus. I guess that's what it's called. I still don't have a picture of it. I'll try to get one from him.
I thought you were gonna
There's
take
one on the Discord.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna take that one.
The home decor one.
Again, personal life has been so but I'm gonna end that bounty season on December 1st.
Okay.
And I didn't talk to you guys about this. This is all surprise to you guys. Whoever has Mando this midnight November 30th. I think there's 30 days in November.
So if your game ends at 12:01, it's too late.
It's too late.
Too late.
It's too late.
You're like begging Nick, please concede, hurry up.
It's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
So whoever has Mando at 11:59 on November 30th will permanently get to keep Mando. I'm going to come up with a special prize for that, and then what we're going to do is every 2 months is going to be our bounty league.
You know what'd be
So-
cool is you give it to one of us they have to win it off to one of the Lost Legion guys. So like maybe Daniel gets the next bus that you make, and they have to beat Daniel in order to get it.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
I was gonna do that, or I was just gonna randomly like, hey, it's now on Omar.
A bounty spawned on you. Congratulations.
All right, guys, that's all I got. You guys got anything else?
That's it.
Yeah, they
All
all
right.
good.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Daniel, JR, thank you for joining me. As always, we are the Lost Legion, and we'll see you next week.